What's up YouTube, it's Jake from JP Trading Cards here, and today I'm bringing you guys my updated Cyber Dragon deck profile. So this was one of my first ever deck profiles that I made, and a couple months have passed, and of course I'm still using Cyber Dragons. They're one of my favorite archetype, but the deck has changed a little bit, so I wanted to give you guys an updated version. So I want to ask you guys to please like, please comment, and please subscribe to the channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon content. Let's get started. Alright, so kicking off the monsters, of course, in a Cyber Dragon deck, you need triple Cyber Dragon. So if your opponent controls a monster and you control none, you can special summon this from your hand. That's why you want to go second in the duel. Next, triple Cyber Dragon Core. So when this card's normal summon, you can search for a Cyber Spell or Trap and add it to your hand. If your opponent controls a monster and you don't, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon a Cyber Dragon from your deck, and this card becomes Cyber Dragon while it's on the field or in the graveyard. Next, triple Cyber Dragon Dre. So when this card's normal summon, all Cyber Dragons you control become level 5 for Cyber Dragon Nova. It's a great, easy way to Xyz summon him. And then, so you can banish this card and then target one Cyber Dragon you control, and it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, which is always nice. And then it becomes Cyber Dragon on the field or graveyard. Next, triple Cyber Dragon Zwei. So Zwei, it gains 300 attack during the damage step only. So, and then once per turn, you can reveal a spell or trap in your hand. Just spell card in your hand. And then it becomes Cyber Dragon until the end phase, and then it is Cyber Dragon while in the graveyard. Next, triple Proto Cyber Dragon, so it becomes Cyber Dragon while it's on the field. So all of these cards essentially are Cyber Dragons, either on the field or in the graveyard, and that's a huge, huge key and a thing to remember once we go over the spells and then also the fusions. Alright, moving on from the quote-unquote Cyber Dragon cards, I run 2 of Cyber Valley. So Cyber Valley has 3 different effects. So when this card's targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack and draw 1 card. So banish this card, and then negate the attack, draw 1 card, and the battle phase ends. So that effect is essentially a negate attack plus you draw a card. His other effect is that target 1 face-up monster you control, and then this card, banish both of them, and then draw 2. So almost like this first effect. Then the final effect, so target 1 card in your graveyard, banish Cyber Valley and 1 card from your hand, and then you can place the card that you targeted in your graveyard on top of your deck. I personally use the first one most. And finally, the last 2 monsters are Cyber Phoenix. So when this card is in attack position, it can negate any spell or trap effects that target a machine monster. Then, when this card is destroyed by balance into the graveyard, you can draw 1 card. So personally, it has 1600 defense, so if I open him up or just draw him, I'll play him in defense mode, and if he gets destroyed, I get to draw 1 card. So it's not that bad, and I'm not losing really anything. So that's it with the monsters. Let's move on to the spells. So to kick off the spells, I run 3 of Cyber Repair Plant. So if Cyber Dragon's in your graveyard, you can activate one of these 2 effects. So you can add 1 Light Machine Monster from your deck to your hand, or you can target 1 Light Machine Monster in your graveyard, shuffle that back into your deck, and if you have 3 Cyber Dragons in your grave, you can activate both effects. Next, triple Power Bond. So fuse cards from your hand or field, and then it basically their attack doubles, but you take damage equal to their original attack. That's the only downside of Power Bond, is that damage at the end, but by going second, hopefully you just OTK them to where the damage won't even matter. Next, 2 instant fusion, so pay 1000, then special summon 1 level 5 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck. So using this on Chimera Tech Rampage is always awesome. Next, two Overload Fusion. So fusion summon one Dark Machine Fusion from your extra deck by banishing the fusion materials on your field or graveyard. So this is nice because you can use fusions from your grave, or materials from your grave. Next, 2 Potted Desires, banish 10 and draw 2. Basically just you run multiple copies of all the monsters, 2 of each like fusion spell, all that good stuff, so just to get through your deck. Now for the one-ofs, 1 Machine Armored Unit. So when a machine monster is destroyed by battle sent to the graveyard, special summon 1 machine monster from your deck that has the same attribute and less attack. So this is good if your monster gets destroyed. If your monster gets destroyed, you can special summon a new one, and it's continuous. 1 Evolution Burst. So if you control Cyber Dragon, target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy that target. Next, 1 Future Fusion. Card's kind of in its name. So during your first standby phase, after this card activates, you show a fusion monster from your extra deck. Then, during your second standby phase, you get to fusion that card, or get to summon that fusion. Sorry. So that's pretty good. You know, if you have a solid board the first turn and you have future fusion, you can just add on to the second. For your next turn. Sorry. Next, 1 limiter removal. So double the attack of all machine type monsters. And then at the end of the turn, destroy those monsters. Next, 1 different dimension reincarnation. Discard 1 card, then target 1 of your banished monsters, special summon it in attack position. Next, so that's just special summoning 1 of your banished monsters. Next is Machine Dupe. So target 1 machine monster you control, 500 or less attack, special summon up to 2 monsters from your deck with the same name. So that's good on Core or Cyber Valley. You can use those 2 on. And finally, Defusion. So basically, just use this, and then if you have a fusion monster on the field, you just take the materials from your graveyard, discard the fusion, and bring the materials back. So that's it for the spells. Let's go on to the traps. Alright, to round out our main deck, I use 3 trap cards, 2 of them being Cyber Network. So, Cyber Network's effect is that after your 3rd standby phase, after this card's activated, you destroy this card, but its effect is, so if a Cyber Dragon is on the field, you can banish 1 light machine monster from your deck. So banish the 1 light machine monster from your deck, and then when this card leaves the field, you can special summon as many of those banished monsters back as you can. Then finally, 1 negate attack, very self-explanatory, negates the attack and then ends the battle phase. So that's it for the traps in the main deck. Let's move on to the extra deck. Alright, kicking off our extra deck, we're going to run Decode and Proxy. Mostly Proxy just to extend your extra monster zone, and Decode is an absolute beast and definitely helps with that OTK. Next, for our Cyber Dragon Xyz, double Nova. So Nova's effect is that once per turn you can detach 1 material from this card, target 1 Cyber Dragon in your grave, special summon it. Then during either player's turn, banish a Cyber Dragon from your hand or field. Then it gains 2100 attack, so basically gains the attack of a normal Cyber Dragon. Next, if this card is sent to your graveyard by an opponent's card effect, special summon 1 Machine Fusion from your extra deck, so any of the Cyber Dragon fusions you can summon if he is destroyed by a card effect. And last, Xyz, we're running 1 Cyber Dragon Infinity, so you can Xyz summon Infinity by overlaying it with Cyber Dragon Nova, So basically you Xyz summon him and then use himself to Xyz summon Infinity. So it's a real easy way to bring out Infinity. So Infinity's effect, wow, it is late and I cannot speak. So it gains 200 attack for each material attached to it, and when it's used, Cyber Dragon Nova is used as material, all the material rolls over. So once per turn, you can target one face-up attack position monster on the field and attach it to this card as material. And then so it obviously gains 200 more attack. And then once per turn, when a card effect is activated, you can detach one material from this card and negate the activation and destroy the card. So that card is absolutely broken and amazing. Now let's go on to the fusions. So here's where you can kind of get crazy. So I run one Chimera Tech Overdragon. So basically he is one Cyber Dragon, oops, so you can see him, one Cyber Dragon and one Machine Monster. So this card must be fusion summoned, and the original attack of this card becomes 800 times however many materials you use to fusion summon. So if you used 5, it's 4,000 attack, and it can attack as many times as material used. So 4,000 attack, 5 attacks. That's just ridiculous. Next, Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. So you don't need to use a fusion summon for this. You just have to send cards from the field to the graveyard, and it gains 1,000 for each material used. So similar to Chimera Tech Overdragon, but without the attacking as many times as material. Next, 2 Cyber Twin Dragons. So basically, this card can attack twice. If you use this in Power Bond, it's absolutely broken, absolutely amazing. Next, Cyber End Dragon. So if this card attacks a monster in defense position, you can inflict damage to them. So that's always good if they're playing pretty safe, and then you pull out your Cyber End Dragon, especially with Power Bond, 8,000 attack. Just don't lose, or don't not kill him that turn, because then you lose 4,000, which sucks. Next, this card's really good as well, Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. So you basically, so it's fusion summon. You can target spell traps on the field up to the number of fusion materials. So basically, if you use 3 Cyber Dragons, you can destroy 3 spell traps on the field, which is always nice. So then once per turn, send up to 2 Light Machine Monsters from your deck to the graveyard. So basically 2 Cyber Dragons. And if you do, for each monster sent to the graveyard, it gains an attack. So if you send 2, you get an extra 2 attacks. So that'd be 3, which is just absolutely ridiculous. And finally, the new boss after the legendary decks, Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon. So this card needs to be fusion summoned with Cyber Dragon and then a monster from your extra monster zone. So you don't have to use polymerization or any type of fusion card. You just have to send them to the graveyard, and then it gains 1,200 attack for the number of materials. So again, if you have your extra monster zone, say you have 5, but you got Cyber Dragon and 4 other monsters, that's 1,200 times 6. So that's a lot of attack. Again, like I said, it's late and I can't do the math on the on the top of my head, but another broken card. That's it for the deck profile. If you guys liked it, please like, please comment, and please subscribe to the channel for more videos. Jake is out.